2018 Skoda Karoq SUV Review. Pros: very comfortable, seriously practical, generous standard kit. Finance offers are certainly competitive. Cons: not a sharp drive-in automobile as some rivals. 1.0-liter petrol engine struggles on motorways. Lack of super-low emissions engine. Looks nearly the same as larger Kodiaq. The Skoda Karoq SUV will be the Czech manufacturer's replacement the much-loved Yeti, featuring more conventional SUV-style looks as well as a design philosophy which ties in heavily using the larger Kodiaq 7-seater. Skoda will show you that the Yeti's more conventional SUV replacement attracts younger buyers. Slotting into probably the most congested sectors from the market, the Karoq is defined to go head-to-head with all the Hyundai Tucson, Kia Sportage and hugely popular Nissan Qashqai, let alone in-house rivalry from Ateca and Volkswagen's Tiguan cars that share a platform with all the Karoq. Does the Karoq emerge on top? You must watch on, though with 10.3 million SUVs required to be sold by 2024, a 430% increase over 2010, now's certainly the best time for Skoda going to the mark. New car, new name. Skoda decided so it wanted to begin a closer hyperlink to the larger Kodiaq. That meant the name were forced to start which has a K and end that has a Q. Kodiak Island in Alaska was the source from the new badge, in which the population describes a car as being a Karoq, while an arrow much like the one for the Skoda badge is known as Rock. And so, Karoq was given birth to. Regardless of etymology, the modern car will have to stand aside from the Yeti because for the brief time both will be sold alongside one another. Production from the older model will minimize when the newest car starts, but you'll have the capacity to buy it later this current year, while dealers have Yeti models left well into 2018. Generous standard kit levels over the range. Even when you opt for your basic S-Spec car, virtually all customers will plump for mid-level sale. There's still an excellent SP watch of normal kit to obtain your teeth stuck into. This includes 6.5-inch infotainment touchscreen, cruise control, dual-zone climate control, DAB radio, Bluetooth phone connectivity, rear parking sensors and SmartLink, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's lots of potentially life-saving precautionary features too, including front assist autonomous emergency braking with predictive pedestrian protection. The automobile can recognize and try to avoid pedestrians to use path. Multi-collision brake automatically activates brakes after a car accident. Emergency assist brings the auto to a halt if this detects the motive force has collapsed, and blind spot monitoring. Skoda Karoq, practical with adaptable rear seats. Mid-sized SUVs need to be capable of fit 5 adults in addition to their luggage, something the Karoq does with relative ease. There's a good amount of room inside the cabin for 4 large adults with rear headroom, a unique highlight even while using optional panoramic roof constantly in place. Middle seat passengers will bemoan the chunky transmission tunnel, robbing room to put their feet, but ought to be happy otherwise. Storage throughout the cabin is very useful, plus boot space can be a class-leading 521 liters with all the rear seats constantly in place and 1,630 liters using them down. You can also eliminate the back seats entirely when you wish, although this is usually a process that may practice to perfect. Simple but effective engine lineup. There's only 4 engines on offer from the Karoq, and although none sets the world alight using performance levels, they're all able to do the job. That said, the highlights in the range are generally the 150 horsepower 2.0-liter TDI diesel or even the 150 horsepower 1.5-liter TSI petrol. All engines are available that has a slick hand-house 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox. Fuel economy and emissions figures aren't class-leading, However, they are enough to maintain both private and company car drivers happy. The lowest CO2 rating is among the 115 horsepower 1.6-liter TDI DSG at 117 GkM, along with best fuel economy at 64.2 miles per gallon. Not very fun to push, but great comfort levels. The Karoq has become set up use a calm, comfortable ride and tranquil driving experience, something it achieves with aplomb. Road and wind noise are low, as the ride and general damping is impressive, bathing in large bumps with no trouble. Potholes and cracks within the road can reveal a little edge to your ride, especially on larger wheels, but not for the extent of ruining an otherwise relaxing driving experience. The hunt for comfort means the Karoq feels soft and rolls an affordable bit in corners, but is perfectly stable and easy to push at both high and low speeds. Those who consume a sharp, sporty drive should think about looking elsewhere, however. Verdict: the Škoda Karoq is predictable to use sheer competency. After making a real fine effort on the greater Kodiaq SUV, Škoda has followed up using a well-equipped, comfortable and seriously practical crossover. Access for the Volkswagen parts bin has additionally played a component, using the Karoq bagging the newest Volkswagen Group infotainment system and 1.5-liter petrol engine Practicality. For many, it are going to be all the family car they'll ever need. Detractors incorporate a fairly narrow pair of good but not spectacular engines and handling prowess that falls behind the Ateca and Ford Kuga. Even so, the Karoq has still gone right on the top from the class, a location which it will probably remain in for just a while yet. 2 petrol and a couple of diesel engines being offered 1.5-liter TSI and a pair of .0-liter TDI provide enough performance. Base 1.0-liter TSI struggles inside Karoq. The Škoda Karoq's performance is capable if unspectacular, the medium-sized SUV boasting a selection of capable petrol and diesel engines for customers from which to choose. Škoda Karoq petrol engines: the smallest engine on offer inside Karoq will be the 1.0-liter TSI 115 horsepower. This produces 200 Nm of torque and will accelerate from 0-62 miles per hour in 10.6 seconds, 10.7 for that DSG automatic, reaching an eventual top speed of 116 miles per hour. Next up will be the 1.5-liter TSI 150 horsepower, efficient at going from 0-62 miles per hour in 8.4 seconds, 8.6 for your automatic, and on with a top speed of 126 miles per hour. Maximum torque is rated at 250 Nm. Škoda Karoq diesel engines: like the petrol variants, there may be 2 different diesel engines offered, starting together with the 1.6-liter TDI 115 horsepower. This produces 250 Nm of torque and is competent at accelerating from 0-62 miles per hour in 10.7 seconds, 10.9 with the automatic, reaching a highly regarded speed of 116 miles per hour. Finally, the strongest diesel on offer will be the 2.0-liter TDI 150 horsepower, which comes with 4-wheel drive as standard. Torque is rated at 340 Nm while 0-62 miles per hour is dealt with in 8.7 seconds, 9.3 for your automatic. Top speed is 121 miles per hour. Driving impressions: so far we've driven all engines besides the 115 horsepower 1.6-liter diesel. The base 115 horsepower petrol is refined and perfectly capable close by town, however does continue to struggle on motorways and during overtaking maneuvers. If you'll regularly be loading your vehicle up with passengers and luggage or do mega motorway miles, we'd steer clear of the 115 horsepower 1.0-liter petrol. The 150 horsepower 1.4-liter petrol, meanwhile, is way punchier and provides up noticeably better acceleration and motorway pulling power. It is noticeably noisier as opposed to 1.0 liter, especially at higher revs, so bear this plan before buying. Opting with the 150 horsepower 2.0 liter diesel could well be considered the safe option, and it's not difficult to see why. While slightly noisier than you could expect, it's got enough pulling power on motorways and will be the motor of choice when you plan on utilizing the Karoq like a tow car. 6-speed manual and 7-speed DSG option available. All engine variants provide choice of a 6-speed manual or 7-speed DSG automatic gearbox. The former is precise enough as well as simple task, even though the latter offers super slick team changes as well, being a manual override function. Sharp handling sacrificed inside pursuit of comfort, still perfectly stable and grippy on all roads. Off-road ability will likely exceed customers' needs despite sharing a platform and a lot of mechanical components. While using Ateca, the Škoda Karoq feels significantly different to operate a vehicle. Rather than drop the route of making the automobile feel sharp and sporty, Škoda has engineered the Karoq being soft and comfortable. Safe and stable. However, not exciting if you are looking to get a sporty SUV. Stop watching now because Karoq won't fit into the category. That's not saying it's not nice to drive an automobile, it has a rather more relaxed means of doing things. The steering, for instance, while accurate and well-weighted, isn't particularly sharp or communicative. You still get a superb idea of how your vehicle is behaving, but it's not up there using the Ateca or Ford Kuga by way of example. In normal driving conditions, the Karoq flows nicely from corner to corner and, despite its relatively large size, is straightforward to pilot through narrow city streets and tight, 90-degree turns. Push on faster into corners and you'll start observing the body in the car roll, although not to ever extent where it feels wayward or unsafe. Grip levels are about average for a vehicle in this class, and, when you do deplete all of your purchase, there's adequate feel inside steering wheel to show you the front on the car starts to push wide in the intended line. Parking is manufactured easier as a result of standard fit rear parking sensors, plus there is certainly also an opportunity to add front parking sensors, a reversing camera and automatic parking. The Karoq's off-roading credentials are more than adequate with the vast majority of clients, with hill descent control plus an off-road drive mode fitted as standard on 4x4 models. Driver's seat offers a lot of adjustment as well as a nice, high driving position. Controls and dials are exceptionally clear and simple. Task cabin materials feel well judged and impressively durable. Good driving position and well thought out cabin sat inside the elevated SUV driving position. The Škoda Karoq is often a nice, in any other case particularly imaginative, place to become. The dials and displays are typical, exceptionally clear, whilst the placement of both major and minor controls can be an example of effective simplicity. There's lots of adjustment within the seat and controls, these offering movable rake and reach, which means that drivers of just about any size should have the capacity to make themselves comfortable. Škoda Karoq, impressive infotainment screen. SAL and Karoq edition cars get standard fit 8.0-inch and 9.2-inch touchscreen infotainment displays respectively. Both are impressive to see and offer clear, high-resolution menus and graphics. However, the possible lack of physical buttons about the screen make utilizing the infotainment system while driving tricky, chiefly as you need to take your eyes from the road to view which part with the display you're pressing. Excellent building and durability. We've not yet been in a position to put the Karoq by using an extensive quality trial, but they can comment that, on first impressions, the within feels extremely well screwed together. All the switches and buttons feel solid, plus there's a nice feel to how the vast majority of them work. Škoda in addition has been clever, which consists of use of cheaper materials. Harder, shinier plastics are usually kept well out on the way, meaning you'll only really notice them in the event you're actively looking. Overall comfort levels are incredibly good. Some versions have better ride than others. Big, comfy seats can be a highlight as mentioned within the handling section. Skoda adjusted to great lengths for making the Karoq inappropriate, as an alternative to sporty SUV. Ride quality better on some models than others. All Karoqs boast an outstanding ride quality with excellent damping plus an unfussy nature over large bumps and ridges from the road. However, the 1.0-liter TSI and a pair of 0.0-liter TDI models have the most pliant and well-rounded ride with all of the models, with all the soft, springy nature from the former, a hard to find in an industry full of firmer, sporty SUVs. The 2.0-liter TDI is merely available with more professional suspension, and as being a result there's less noise from your mechanical components when exceeding bumpers or cracks within the road. As ever, think carefully about which dimensions of alloy wheel you need. The ride comfort adopts a noticeably sharper edge the more expensive the diameter of wheel. Overall refinement is usually very good, although wind noise can be a little intrusive depending for the conditions. Which engine you've got under the bonnet also produces a difference, with all the 1.0-liter petrol being the quietest. Disappointingly, the 1.5-liter petrol produces a racket when revved hard, and barely scores better as opposed to 2.0-liter TDI around the refinement front. Comfortable seats all round. Whether you stick with all the standard fabric seats or plump with the optional leather ones, you are unlikely to get wanting for comfort. They're big, squashy and supportive and can be found with optional electric adjustment and memory function. Impressive standard equipment levels for specifications being offered, say technology, L and Karoq edition all include climate control, parking sensors and cruise control, as is currently the way with numerous products on the Czech manufacturer. The Škoda Karoq's equipment levels are extensive. There are 3 trim levels from launch, namely L and Karoq edition. Standard Škoda Karoq SUV equipment, cruise control with speed limiter, dual-zone climate control, DAB radio and Bluetooth phone connectivity, autonomous emergency braking, automatic headlights and windscreen wipers, rear parking sensors, SmartLink connectivity, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 17-inch Rotocon alloy wheels, electrically adjustable, folding and heated door mirrors with auto-dimming, front fog lights, halogen headlights, privacy glass, black roof rails, 2 ISOFIX points and foldable table on front seat backrest. Technology is usually a company car driver-focused spec that contributes 17-inch Triton alloy wheels, adaptive cruise control and aim and sensation. L besides spec Amundsen Satanov with 8.0-inch touchscreen display with European mapping, voice control and integrated Wi-Fi, color multifunction computer, drive mode select, front and back parking sensors, full LED headlights with adaptive front light system, online information services, keyless entry and keyless ignition, rear view camera and SmartLink plus 18-inch Braga alloy wheels, Alcantara upholstery, chrome roof rails, headlight washers plus a storage compartment below passenger seats. Karoq edition besides L spec top of the range Columbus Satanov with 9.2-inch touchscreen display, blind spot monitoring with rear traffic alert, electrically operated boot lid, electrically operated front seats with memory function, gesture control, lane assist, panoramic sunroof, traffic sign recognition and wireless phone charging. 19-inch Crater alloy wheels, leather upholstery, LED ambient lighting and metallic paint. Optional Škoda Karoq SUV equipment. If the Awachi generous levels of ordinary kit for the Karoq aren't enough available for you, Škoda even offers the Karoq, which has a vast array of optional extras available. For starters, customers could decide among a selection of different paint colors including standard solid shades, special colors including candy white, metallic and exclusive colors. On the interior, luxuries such being heated controls, aluminum pedal set, panoramic sunroof standard on Karoq edition and heated front and back seats might be spexed. Drivers who undertake a lot of motorway miles also can want to spec the optional assistance package 1, featuring adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring and traffic jam assist. Controls the steering, accelerator and brakes in the traffic jam. Finally, in case you plan on utilizing your Karoq for towing, an electrically folding tow bar is usually specified. Solid 5-star Euro NCAP rating. Standard fit autonomous emergency braking. Front passenger seat ISOFIX mounting is optional. The Škoda Karoq achieved, not surprisingly, the full 5-star crash test rating if it was rated by Euro NCAP following 2017. As well, like a host of airbags, the Karoq also boasts the most common plethora of safety systems and driving assistance tech. This includes standard fit front assist, which scans ahead from the vehicle and automatically applies the brakes should an imminent collision be detected. A driver fatigue monitor also can detect in the event the driver is showing signs and symptoms of tiredness and may advise these to stop for any break with the earliest opportunity. What's more, if the automobile is in a mishap, the doors are automatically unlocking, so aid rapid exit in the vehicle. Optional safety under driver assistance technology includes adaptive cruise control, lane assist, blind spot monitoring and traffic jam assist. Controls the steering, accelerator and brakes in a very traffic jam. How many ISOFIX child car seats can I fit into Škoda Karoq SUV? There's 2 standard ISOFIX mountings within the outer rear seats, with an optional one for the front passenger seat. Class-leading boot space. Excellent passenger room storage space. Also spot on. No matter what size the build from the driver and passengers, the Karoq is able to accommodating for in comfort. There is room for just a 5th, but in case you'll frequently be utilizing the middle rear seat, then think of specing the VariaFlex seating system, which adds the full-size center seat standard on sale cars onwards. Note, however, that even while using optional seating arrangement, legroom for your middle seat is tight thanks to some chunky transmission tunnel by the motive force's feet. As well as affording an independent middle seat, the VariaFlex layout also enables users to slide forward or remove all rear seats to generate more luggage space. Just beware that taking off the seats isn't an easy task and definitely will take some becoming familiar with, let alone some strong arms. Another useful feature situated on other Škodas, which includes made its way on top of the Karoq, would be the fold-down picnic tables within the back on the front seats. Part of a wider selection of practicality features, the Karoq also boasts entryway pockets able to swallowing a 1-hour.5-liter bottle of water, removable bins plus some handy hooks inside the boot space. It could be an SUV, nevertheless the Karoq really isn't that tricky to park, especially while using all-round parking sensors and reversing camera fitted. The steering is light at low speeds and simple to turn with one hand, the blind spots aren't too intrusive, and also the driving position provides a decent view with the car's extremities. If you tick the proper option box, automatic parking is usually available, meaning just pull up next to your space and have your vehicle drive into it for the press of the mouse button. Whether you select the standard specs A car without VariaFlex rear seats or pay just a little extra with the SAL or Karoq Edition models, the Karoq boasts class-leading degrees of boot space. With the common seats fitted, there's 521 liters of luggage space while using rear seats in position, rising to just 1,630 liters with these folded down. However, when fitted using the sliding VariaFlex seats, rear seats up boot spaces which range from 479 liters to 588 liters depending on how far the seats are slid forward. Fold the VariaFlex seats down and boot space is slightly less compared to regular setup at 1,605 liters. Remove the seats entirely, however, and there is really a gargantuan 1,810 liters offered. Disappointingly, the variable height boot floor isn't obtainable in conjunction with VariaFlex rear seating. hooks for shopping and also a partition net are also available with the Karoq's boot.